This is what always happens. Who didn't get in becomes a bigger story.
Well,
almost bigger than who is, which is sad.
I am hurt that one guy should be in and one guy I wouldn't say should be out, but they've been waiting for 20 years to put him in, and then they stuffed him in front of.
Okay, let me run through it.
Yes.
Here. It's Alex McGillney is who you're speaking of, because McGillney's been eligible for a long time. He's going into the Hall. Joe Thornton, Duncan Keith, Zdeno Chara, Jennifer Botterill, and Brianna Decker in the player category, and Jack Parker and Danielle Savillot as builders. They're going to be all inducted into the Hall of Fame with a ceremony in November. Now, the omission, who you're alluding to, and I agree with your sentiments here, is Carey Price was eligible. How Carey Price is not a first ballot Hall of Famer is absolutely beyond me. It's shades of Brendan Shanahan when Shanahan didn't get in.
Dude,
Shanahan had to wait. I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, when Shanahan was not in with 600-plus goals and 3 Stanley Cups, I'm like, there's no such thing as a first ballot other than that guy.
Yeah, he
didn't get in.
That was I would guess taking one for the team, and Shanahan's working for the league and with the Leafs at that point, I believe.
Doesn't matter.
But you're right. A 100% unanimous first ballot Hall of Famers, Shanahan and Price, who won a Hart Trophy. He dragged his team to a Cup final when they had no right to be there.
Won gold medal.
He won a gold medal in 2014 as the man on that team.
Right. My whole thing, Brian and is Carey Price was known as the best goaltender on the planet.
Yes.
In his window.
For a good chunk of time.
Regardless,
5-7 years.
You could argue when it dropped off of that.
Which is kind of a big criteria when you're talking about going into the Hall of Fame. Was he the best at that position for any length of time? Or any substantial amount of time? And Jamie, he was.
That's my point. So I'm going, okay, I understand. And you're right. I'm not going to kick sand at Alex McGillney. I think he's been a very polarizing guy for the last many years. A lot of people around here are like, hey, this guy should be in. He missed. I get it. I'm happy for him. I'm more just disappointed for Carey. I think, and again, it bothers me that there's only a certain number. To me, if there's 6 guys that are worthy, put them in.
Yes,
and if there's
I
only
agree.
3 next year, put 3 in. You don't force feed somebody in. But Carey Price is a first ballot Hall of Fame goaltender, and he'll probably make it in next year, but I just feel like it's a miss. And again, I'm not slighting anybody else that made it in. Congratulations. I just feel like they should have had an extension there. Hey, we're going to put in X amount of people.
Thornton, for me, first ballot Hall of Famer. Played all those games, all those minutes, won a Hart, first overall pick. He's won,
Char and Keith, same thing.
Char and Keith, the same thing. McGillney is what makes it complicated. I have been of the belief I think he should be in.
Right.
I've always thought of him as a superstar. Now, his numbers don't necessarily express that. Now, he did score 76 goals in a season.
76 to 1 year.
Came over as one of the big 3 Russians, him, Fedorov, and Bure. It was a 3-pack at one point. The 3 of them are en route. And, he was, when he was a Leaf, he was phenomenal, but his numbers don't scream Hall of Fame. That's probably what took so long. But to be blunt, if you're asking me who do I think is more of a Hall of Famer, Carey Price or Alex McGillney, it's Carey Price.
Yes.
So for whatever reason they do this, and I understand why in many ways it's justified. I think McGillney's worthy of it. I think Jeremy Roenick was worthy of it last year. I think there's other guys who aren't in that probably should be in. But this idea that you cap it at 4 male players allows for something like this, where you have a Brendan Shanahan, where you have a Carey Price, who should be locked first ballot Hall of Famers.
And by the way, if McGillney didn't get in again, then it would just be outrage again. Why no McGillney?
Very true.
It's a finicky spot where it's like, if this guy deserves to go in the Hall of Fame, and this is what is really weird about this whole process, is we're debating Carey Price as opposed to celebrating the others, but it's such a glaring omission. It's like, it's hard not to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. And in Montreal, they are going to be losing their minds.
We would too if we were
totally understand.
If this was a Habs market, imagine what Habs' Mitch Melnick is talking about right now. He is outraged.
Sure, it's a slight, and I was doing radio there this morning. It never came up because
Yeah,
they probably just thought, well, obviously Carey Price is going in.
We'll talk to you tomorrow about Price going into the Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
I think this is all Jerome McGinley's fault. I think he's on the selection committee.
Oh, you're kidding me. He's got one of the 18 votes?
Well, I'm just reading it right now. Class of 95 announced introduction. Gathering of the selection committee in June of 23. They've got names on here, but I see Iggy in there.
Okay.
Iggy doesn't like goaltenders. That's what it is.
Well, and he hates Montreal goaltenders in particular because Theodore stole the heart from him. Jose Theodore stole the heart from him as a Montreal Canadian.
Obviously, I'm joking, but I just feel like I've had this, and again, we shouldn't be taking anything away from McGillney. Like McGillney, if he's a Hall of Famer, then he should be in. I just think Carey Price is a Hall of Famer, and he should have been in as well. So it sucks. They should have extended it to one extra, or it doesn't matter how many you put in, you just put in. If you're a Hall of Famer, yes, you go in. Like you shouldn't. Rogie Vachon went in after like 20 years.
Yeah, I know. It took a long time.
Were they just waiting to wedge him in there? Hey, it's a weaker year. We're going to wedge this guy in. I don't think this is a weak class. So now they got to wedge McGillney in. McGillney's been a Hall of Famer. Put him in. It just I
agree. Like you put Price, Chara, Keith, Thornton, like that's a great 4-pack. They're all contemporaries. They're all from the same era. They all came in about the same time. Chara came in the 80s, I think, but everyone else, although Thornton maybe in the 80s too. What was he drafted in 97?
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is Jaromir Jagr is still not eligible.
Well, he's still playing.
His 3-year clock doesn't even start. That guy's going to go in there. You think we look like garbage? Yeah, he's going to have gray hair and a gray beard and be
He'll
up there.
Look like Santa at his speech.
Yeah,
yes, and saying, I remember when I got to Pittsburgh in 1990. Yeah. And they'll be like, what? That was 45 years ago when you showed up and started playing in the league.
He's going to go in with Gary Roberts' son.
Yes, that's what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Someone's kid, like Sid might go in with him.
Yes.
It might literally be Sid and Jagr. And Jagr had left Pittsburgh long before Sid even showed up.
Yeah.
Long before he arrived.
I just think you're right.
Now, we're getting pushback. Like, what about, why is Carey Price a lock? He never won a cup. He won the Hart
Alex
1 year.
Regarded as the best goaltender in the world.
Yes. Never once was Alex McGillney ever known. Was he known as a top 10 player in the league?
I don't know.
Not to me, and I played against the guy.
Yeah, it was your era. You would know better than I would.
He was a great player.
He would have been known as a top 10 right winger in the league.
Well, when he scored 76, were there 9 guys better than him that year?
No.
That was Gretzky.
Solani's the only other guy.
I guess my point being is that, for me, Carey Price was known at the best in his position for many, many years.
Yes.
Alex McGillney was never known at the best of his position for not 1 year of his career. That doesn't mean anything, but it's still, I guess that's my argument for the goaltender opposed to the forward.